Happy Wednesday. How's everyone doing? Let's wait a bit for people to show up. If anyone's going to show up, I see a couple of you say hi. I want to know I'm not speaking to an empty room. I guess. Let me just check stuff. I always have to check to make sure that I am actually live and it's broadcasting because I never know. It's one of those things where when people were in the office and someone would call in and everyone was like, "Can you hear me? Can you see me? Can you hear me?" So it's the same with doing live streams. Hey GK, someone's there. All right, so there's at least one person, so that's good. All right, so what I want to do today is so yesterday Istio 1.20 was announced. And I haven't prepared anything, to be completely honest. This is not going to be scripted. I saw the announcement yesterday, and I figured, well, let's just schedule a stream and let's just go through it, read the release notes, see what's new. So I did glance across some of the things a little bit, but anyway, it might be a 20-minute thing, it might be an hour thing, or it might be just 10 minutes, but we'll see. All right, let me switch to, I guess this one looks good, and I could make this smaller. I did prepare a cluster though, so at least I have a cluster. If we're gonna try a couple of things out, hopefully we can do that. Let me just make sure I have the windows closed, so I don't flash something I don't want to flash. But okay. All right, perfect. And of course, the obligatory, if the font is not big enough, let me know. So, all right. So 120, last Istio release of 2023. That sounds interesting. I mean, it's November, right? So we're getting close to the end of the year. All right. So what's new? Okay. So supported on Kubernetes versions 125 to 128. I don't know if this has actually changed from the previous version. So let's see. So patch release, one patch release, patch. Where was 119? There you go. No, it's the same. So Kubernetes version stayed the same. So that's all right. All right. So first on what's new? So Gateway API. So Gateway API, we did a stream, I think a couple of weeks back with Alessandro on the Gateway API. And I think either the same day or the day after, there was an announcement. There was a GA release for the Gateway API. So the Gateway API graduated to V1, and Istio was supporting it before this as well. But let's see what else was added. So initiative to bring rich set of service networking APIs to Kubernetes. Basically, instead of using Istio's virtual service and gateway resource, you would use the Gateway API resources, which one of them is also called the gateway, to configure the same things in Istio, right? So GA, and there's a full support for it. So Istio provides full support. This is exciting. All right, so this is just conformance. Oh, okay, so it's conformant with V1. Okay, I'm not gonna look through this, but oh yeah, these are the resources, I guess. If anyone wants to look at the conformance report, yeah, supported features. These are basically the resources in a way, I guess. HTTP route is the resource. So let's see what else. Provides full support, significant milestone for sure. Gateway API test. Oh, there's also a documentation. Perfect. So we can go through that one. So in this release, we have also added support for configuring Istio CRD's authorization policy request telemetry and WASM plugin for Kubernetes Gateway API via the target ref field. All right. Let's see what that means. All right. So So this is the task. Let me just post this in the chat if anyone wants to follow along. So you can click instead of typing it. Okay, so it's going to be default in the future. All right, so I do have a cluster. Yeah, so I'll just do metal LB first. So we get an actual IP address. And yeah, it's not installed by default. So whenever you're using gateway APIs, you'll have to install them. And note the ref version here is 1000. So that's nice. And as soon as this completes here, we'll be able to go through this one. All right. Just make sure that stuff is there. So everything is running. 3 out of 4. Why is that one showing 3 out of 4? Well, let's just hope it's going to recover and go 4 out of 4. All right, so kubectl get CRD gateway API, blah, 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 customize, and then pointing to the actual CRD on GitHub. So let's do this. So there you go. That's it. So that was pretty fast. And then we're installing it with the minimal profile because the default profile includes the Ingress gateway. However, since we're going to be using gateway API, we don't actually need an Ingress gateway, right? So if you've done in Kubernetes Ingress resource, if you're familiar with how that works, is you would install the Ingress controller first, and then you would use the Ingress resource that would configure that Ingress controller, right? The way that gateway, I think that's a short version for gateway APIs. Gateway APIs, the way that works is you need a control plane. In this case, the control plane is Istio, right? So as soon as we're going to deploy a gateway resource, a gateway API gateway resource, Istio will provision an Ingress gateway for us, right? So we don't need to deploy a controller, right, or like something akin to Ingress controller like we used to do before. Yes, Kind plus metal LB combo, exactly. Yeah, so I actually get, and you'll see once I deploy the gateway, I'll actually get an external IP address. There's some other thing that I'm running on Mac. I can find the link later on and share it. There's another thing that you have to run in order to make this work. Right? It's just not going to magically work, at least on a Mac. I don't know about other OSs, but yeah, let's see. Maybe I'll be proven wrong and it's not going to work. All right, so shares a lot of similarities, shares the same name, yes, right? So it's a gateway and gateway. Okay, Ingress, it configures an existing, so that's an Istio API, right? Existing gateway that has been deployed. So this is what I was talking about, right? In the gateway API, the gateway resource is going to configure and deploy a gateway for you. And then instead of configuring like routing and matches and all that in a virtual service, we can do that with either HTTP route or TCP route. It does not cover 100% of Istio's feature set. Okay. I thought they said they cover everything. Oh, it's fully conformant. All right, maybe that doesn't mean it's fully conformant with the gateway API, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it implements all Istio's features. I guess that's what it means. All right, so we'll deploy a simple application. Okay, so HTTP bin. Oh, actually, I need to. Oh wait, I installed the wrong version of Istio. I think. Let's do this. Yeah. Let's do Istio uninstall. Uninstall. There you go. Let's do this. Maybe this will be a 1 hour stream and not 20 minutes. Okay, so we have to download it first, of course. I'll download the latest one at least. I think this will download the latest one. So I'll just do. I typically just download it in my projects folder. Oh, no, it's 16. Okay, I have Istio version set. Okay, so Istio version 1.20. Let's try again. All right, so 120 is being downloaded, and then if we go 120 bin Istio CTL, let's just see Istio CTL version 120, perfect. And then let me just do the just link this with okay, so let me do, I just want to link it so it's my default version, of course. Has anyone tried 120 already? I know it's very soon since it was just released yesterday, but if you have, let me know. All right, so let's do reload here. And then Istio CTL version. Perfect, 120. Okay, so I can close this so we can go back to this one and install with the minimal. There we go. And I can go into the samples folder. So we'll do Istio 120. And I think this is fine. All right, so we have Istio installed. Let's double check. Yeah, so there's IstioD. That's the only thing. Let's actually do Istio system. That's the only thing that's just installed. It's just IstioD. All right, so does it say if we should probably label the namespace, right? I don't think it. Yeah, let's do label ns. Wait, let me just see. Huh, odd. Oh, maybe because it's Gateway API, it doesn't require. They're not labeling the namespace, but I'll just label it just in case we want to try other features. All right, so I'll do HTTP bin, and we'll see what's happening. Oops. I always mess up -F with like follow and -W for wait. All right, up and running. Perfect. Okay, let's do this. All right, so deploy the gateway API's configuration, including a single exposed route. Okay. All right, so what we're doing is we're deploying the gateway into a separate namespace called Istio Ingress. And this is how it looks like. So gateway class name is Istio, and then we're specifying a listeners. So this is, I guess this section here is similar to Istio's gateway where you're defining the, I think it's called servers or something, where you define the host protocol and the port. So you have a default listener, star.example.com, so blah.example.com or something.example.com. So that's what it will listen to, port 80, and then allowed routes from all namespaces. So this is one of the things that you can do with the Gateway API. You can restrict the namespaces, and I think there might be other things that you can attach to the gateway. Okay, so this is one, and then the actual route here. So think of this, you can think of this one as Istio's gateway replacement in a way. Well, it is a replacement. And then HTTP route configures the things that you would typically configure in virtual service, right? It's just a different syntax, but it's not too crazy, right? All right, so let's look at the HTTP route. So referring to the parent gateway that we called gateway in the Istio Ingress namespace, we're specifying the host name, same thing you would specify in the virtual service. And then rules, we're saying we're going to create a match on a path. So we're specifying that we want to match on a path prefix, and then backend reference, we're pointing to. So if this match evaluates to true, that's how I read these things. Route the traffic to HTTP bin on port 8000, and that's why we have HTTP bin service running on port 8000. All right, let's do, I guess I'll just copy this one. And now this will actually provision. So if we take a look at the, what was it, Ingress. Istio Ingress namespace. So this actually provisioned a Ingress gateway called gateway. That's the name that it gets from -istio, and then because it's a pod, right? But this is, if we look, I guess we can look at the logs. It doesn't really matter. But you'll recognize that this is just an Envoy instance of an Envoy proxy, same as the typical Ingress gateway that you would get without the gateway API, right? So you have this, set the Ingress host. Oh, I'm going to do this because I think Istio Ingress. Yeah, there you go. I got an external IP. Now the question is whether this is going to work. And if it doesn't, you'll have to trust me that it does. So, all right, so let's try this. So we'll do curl -i. We'll set the host to http://bin.example.com. So that matches the host name that we specified here. And what else? And then the actual LB external IP, right? /get, and then fingers crossed. Yay, it works. Perfect. So we got a response back, 200. Yeah, it's just to set the thing. Yes. No DNS. Okay. And then if we try something else, I guess headers, that doesn't work because the only thing that we're matching is /get, right? And then let's update so we can expose the headers as well and to add a header to the request. All right, so this is just expanding it more. So this is the same match that we had, and then we're also matching on the headers. And now we're using filters. I think we talked a little bit about filters last time on the last stream. Honestly, Alessandro knew more about this than I did. I haven't looked into it that much, but so we're defining a filter of type request header modifier. And then we're saying, oh, we want to add a header named my edit header, and then some value, and everything else stays the same. So let's apply this. I can click this one here. I can actually close this, I think. All right, so now if we do the headers, so this works. Let me actually do, I think this should show us. Yeah, there you go. So if we do curl, I just removed the silent and whatever those flags were. Calling to /headers, you'll notice that we have the my edit header and then the added value that we added there. So that's kind of nice. Okay, and the example you did not need to. Yes, I mentioned that, right? So each gateway will provision a service and deployment. They're updated. Annotations and labels will copied. Okay. Okay, so you can do internal load balancers if you want to. And then Istio offers an additional annotation to configure the generated resource. So service type controls the, oh, okay. Okay, so we can do cluster IP instead of load balancer, right? By default, it was load balancer. Oh, and then we can explicitly set the IP address as well. Only one, right? Advanced, okay. Resource attachment, oh, it's experimental. I'm not really sure if this was new, if this was added in 120 or not. What do you mean by fixing your screen? I would love to fix the screen if you tell me what do you mean by fixing my screen. If you mean making the fonts bigger, I can do that as well. But you have to be more specific than fixing your screen. Hopefully that's what you meant. If not, let me know. Yeah, so I don't know if this was added before or if it was already there before or not. Manual deployment. Okay, mesh traffic. All right, so this is the thing that I went through right now was for the gateway, but we can also use the gateway API to configure the mesh traffic. And we can do that by configuring the parent ref to point to a service instead of the gateway. Okay, so if I go back, we were pointing to, there you go, in the HTTP route, we were pointing to the gateway, but now we're saying if you want to fix, awesome. So it was the font size. Yeah. Um, so instead of pointing to a gateway, we can point to a service, right? If just like we would do in, well, similarly that we would do in like with the Istio resources. But let's see. So gateway API, okay, this is done by configuring, for example, to add a header on all calls to an in-cluster service named example. So we would do HTTP route, and then we point to a service. So this would be, okay, so this is just adding header on all calls to a service named example. So, okay, so this is referring to, all right, so the difference is, in this case, we're actually referring to the name of the Kubernetes service, while in virtual service in Istio, we would refer to the host name, right? So you would say example.svc.cluster, svc.default.cluster.local or something like that, right? Okay, so this makes it more, it uses more, I guess, Kubernetes native resources, if that's the word. I think that makes sense. Yeah. Cleanup. All right. That's interesting. Yeah. So Gateway API definitely something to take a look at. And then in this release, we also added support for configuring Istio CRD's authorization. Target ref. All right. So I want to see, where is this? I want to try. Well, not necessarily, maybe not try, but just want to see how is this implemented and how to use this. So let me go to here, and then I'm trying to find release notes. If there's anything, oh, this is not going to be helpful, probably. Yeah. Oh, Gateway API. All right. So samples to use the core group. There's an issue. Oh, but there was an issue there. No, this is a bug. Let me see. Target ref gateway API. I'm gonna spend like 3 minutes on this, and then we'll move on. API specification and target ref. Okay, so back. Yeah, I don't know if this is really the. If anyone knows or worked with the target policy, okay, might be that. Oh, the policy resource. Oh, okay. So we can use the policy resource, I guess. If you ever seen a manager. Okay. Policy attachment. Oh man, there's so many links and so many documents. It is experimental, and I think I didn't deploy the experimental one, right? So we might not even if I figure out how to configure it, it might not even work because I haven't deployed the experimental one, right? Let's see. Yeah, this might not be the experimental. So the difference is we use the clusters gateway API compliant ingress. Well, no, not necessarily, right? So it depends what you're using, right? In case of Istio, you will get Istio's ingress gateway, right? What gateway API, what it's doing is it's saying, hey, here's the API, here's the interface, and everyone else go and decide how you want to implement this in terms of what do you want your ingress controller to be, right? And in Istio's case, the ingress controller is Envoy, right? It's an Envoy proxy. But I think there was a link that I had open. It might explain this better. Maybe this one. Implement it. Yeah. So like Istio, right? Conk, Kuma, Linkerd, right? Lightspeed ingress controller, Nginx gateway fabric, right? So these are all the control planes, if you wish, that implement gateway API. So if you're using Traffic, you're going to get, if you're using Traffic, you're going to use the same gateway API configuration, right, to configure your ingress gateway. However, Traffic might decide to deploy a different ingress gateway, if that makes sense. Use something else instead of Envoy. I think Traffic does use Envoy, but basically let the implementer decide what the ingress gateway type is going to be. What is it? What's the actual Docker image, if you will, right? And how does it provision it? All right, where was I? Okay, policy attachment. Okay, yeah. So I might not be able to get this to work, but this is definitely something I'll take a look later on. All right, so what's next one? Istio 120 introduces a new update to external name services, aligning more closely with Kubernetes behavior. This change simplifies uh, service entry definition and enhances Istio ability to handle DNS entries. You can opt in preparation for the upcoming default switch. Okay, we'll have to take a look more. Issues has more detail. Seems like you're going to start instead of okay, so target ref issue. Let me find that issue. So might be a lot of back and forth in this stream, but that's what you get. That's what I get for not preparing. I got this one. Oh yeah. Thanks for finding this. Okay, so update. Let me make this bigger so people don't complain. Update authorization policy to use target ref instead of workload selector. Okay, find where workload selector is used and add checks for the existing. Okay. Is there a key to this? So let's see. Wanted to go back. Whoops, too far. So this is the actual thing that got merged. I'm just looking if there's like a unit test or something that contains like a configuration, or there's a test instance, my gateway, policy, no policies. Oh, okay. So this is just checking that it can be used instead of the workload selector target ref. No policy attachment test. Okay, so I guess it's just a way instead of saying, yeah, so I'm guessing authorization policy can target HTTP route directly. Oh, maybe it's just saying, yeah, but I don't know if the change is an actual like I don't think the changes in the authorization policy, I don't think they've added a field there, but I might be wrong. I think it's more of a, if you deploy one of the API gateways, well, I don't know really, but I'm guessing. So selection options. All right, so they went from namespace and the workload labels to this workload selection options. And check the, yeah, okay. Okay, so it is a way to select the names. Okay, authorization test. Let's see. Policy width. No, it looks like it is target ref. Right? Looks like it is. So let's look at the what's that repo? Istio. Is it the API repo? So that's the one where if there are actual changes to the APIs, it should be there, right? So we said authorization. What is the authorization policy, right? So let's see. I'll just search for target ref and let's see what we get. There you go. Oh yeah. Okay, so that's what it is. Yeah, you were right. You're right. So authorization policy selector, right? It's policy target authorization policy. There you go. Target ref. Target ref. All right. So the selector, okay, so the selector decides where to apply the policy. The selector will match with workloads in the same namespace. Okay. If the selector and the target ref are not set, the selector will match with we. Okay. So the workload selector Oh, look at that. Hide from the docs. I don't know if this is set to true or false, but it might not be in the docs. Let's actually see. Docs. Where's the reference? I'll make it bigger. Traffic security authorization policy. All right. Target ref. Yeah, if the selector. Okay, so selector. Oh, looks like it's not. So this is displayed in the docs, right? This thing here, this one for the actual selector, but this is hidden from the docs. I don't know if this is a bug or not, but that's a simple one for someone to fix if one wants to get a like start contributing to Istio. Maybe let me actually copy this. Copy permalink, right? And I'll paste it in the comments and say in case anyone wants to fix a hidden field, fix a comment, fix a hidden field in the docs. I think this might be a bug. I'm not saying it is, but I think it might be. So I'll pasted a link in case anyone wants to do it. Oh, looks like it broke it, but that's where it is. So I guess the fix would be just remove this line, I guess. All right, so option, the target ref specified the gateway the policy should be applied to. Okay, so it's the gateway. So the targeted resource specified will determine which workloads and okay, the target must be gateway. Okay, so it is a gateway. So let's see how this looks like. So let's search. Whoops. Oh no, I didn't want to do that. This one, policy target reference. Okay, so let's see how it looks like. So it's a group. Oh, kind, name, and namespace. Okay, but it looks like it applies to gateways only. All right. External. I don't know much about external name services, to be completely honest, but looks like there's, yeah. So it's going to simplify service entry, which is great. Consistent Envoy filter ordering, new consistent ordering for Envoy filters across inbound, outbound, and gateway proxies has been implemented, ensuring that filters are applied uniformly regardless of the traffic direction or protocol. What does this mean? Would be nice if there was an example for each one of these things. Let's do a search for it. Oops, it's this one. Does it reference? Oh, there you go. So this change. Okay, there you go. There's. Oh, I guess it's in the upgrade. We'll get to it anyway. This change impacts internal how to filter. The filters run in order to implement various functionality. Oh, okay. Okay. I guess it was like inconsistent. So when you're applying Envoy filters, you have to when you're applying patches, right, for Envoy proxies using Envoy filter resource, you have to specify whether you want to apply the patch, whatever it is, on sidecar inbound traffic, sidecar outbound traffic, or gateway. But it looks like what this does, it appears that there's been issues and it wasn't applied in the same order based on inbound, outbound, and gateway. It looks like this fixes it. Okay. So this is the ordering. Obviously, it's metadata exchange, custom authorization, WASM authentication, WASM authorization, ODZ, WASM stats, WASM unspecified. I guess the WASM filter, WASM plugin resource has it's called priority or something. Let me see. WASM plugin priority, not phase. I think it's called phase. Yeah. Let's open it here. Is it plugin phase? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, unspecified. Okay. Yeah, so authentication, authorization, stats, and then unspecified. So if you're working on any Envoy filters, and it's WASM plugin specific, make sure you set it on specified. So it's gonna run the last. This changes the following errors. Inbound TCP filters now place metadata exchange before authentication, okay? And then gateway TCP filters now place stats after ODZ and custom ODZ before I think. Okay, yeah, I think there was a bug around this for sure, but good to know. This would be interesting to include somewhere. I'm sure it might be in the docs, but it's always interesting to know the order the things get executed in. But all right. Excuse me. Expanded support for network WASM plugin. The extensibility of Istio is further broadened with support for network WASM plugin with a new type, network. All right, what were the other types? Oh, there you go. Oh, there's another bug for someone to fix. Oh my god, so many documentation bugs. If you're looking for if you're a first-time contributor, go and grab this. Bug in the docs. Fix the. So you can fix the way links are displayed, I guess. Displayed, and my guess is that here, notice how it's using the markdown syntax. I zoom in. Markdown syntax for links. My bet is that this is coming from the API repo, and there's a different syntax that you have to use for links there. But let's see. There you go. Wasm Proto. There you go. Yes. There you go. The only thing you'll have to figure out how to. Oh, it's interesting. Is this not rendering either, or is this maybe something missing somewhere? Like a missing closing bracket or parentheses or something like that. But we can check. We can just VM config. Let's just do this. Whoops, that was not what I wanted to. VM config, this one. Oh, see, interesting. This one renders correctly. So it might be like an extra space. Well, what did I do? Might be like an extra space or something, but it's definitely a bug, right? Documentation bug. It looks ugly, right? Yeah, it looks like this might be. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, it looks like this might be the issue. Missing something. Oh, I'm not gonna harp it onto this one. If someone wants to go and fix it, there you go. Free bug to fix. Start your contribution. Also, another one extra. Look at that. It's lowercase. Should be uppercase. It's a small one, but anyway. So plugin type indicates the type of WASM extension to be used. There are two types: HTTP and network. So HTTP extensions work at layer 7, L7. HTTP filters, and the detailed HTTP interface for. Yeah, there's some grammar thing as well. One can fix. See, Rust. Okay, the detailed HTTP interface. Sure, look at C++ and Rust. I'm not familiar with either. Let's do C++. C++ has been longer, around longer. Oh, okay. On request. Okay, makes sense. And then let's look at the network extensions. All right, so work at L4 as a network filter, and then there's a interface here. Okay, so this allows you to write L4 WASM plugins and then respond, like write code when there's a new connection, when the downstream data is has arrived, when upstream data has arrived, or from upstream when the connection is closed, when it's done, etc., right? So it's, if you've done WASM plugins, it's just the same thing, but it's L4 as well, right? So that's a pretty nice feature, I guess. Yeah, and you can also apply it to HTTP traffic, right? So what this does, it just adds a new network, I guess, value or enum or whatever we're calling these things. in the protofiles. All right. TCP metadata exchange enhancements. 2 key updates. Fallback metadata discovery. So Istio can now use backup method to collect metadata. To use this, turn peer metadata discovery into proxy and pilot, enable ambient controllers in the control plane. Okay. ALPN token control, new setting, disable NMX LPN for control plane. This lets you stop using a specific token that's normally needed for services. Okay. All right. Yep. I can't come up with a end user scenario from the top of my head right now, but if anyone knows or has a scenario in mind, I guess backup method just tells me that the initial method might fail in some cases, so that's why they created this backup method. So that's nice. Okay. Oh, traffic mirroring. I know traffic mirroring. So, multiple destinations. This feature enables the mirroring of traffic to various endpoints, allowing for simultaneous observation across different service versions or configurations. Let's take a look at this one. I'll copy the name and too many tabs. I can close these. All right, this one sounds good. Added traffic mirroring. Is there anything more here? At least the nice thing is that typically these release notes are included in the same PR as the actual change or fix. So, okay, so mirrors, rain. Okay, so there's, looks like they changed it to array, and you can specify more of them. Oh, there you go. So destination, 2 destinations, 3 destinations. Oh, okay, and then 3 mirror hosts, you can specify them. This is just updating the unit tests and support all the features. Get mirrors. Okay. Listener, waypoint, route, mirror percent by policy. Computes the mirror percent user. Okay. HTTP mirror policy. Is this the API gateway? Gateway API one? Maybe not. Let's see. Mirror. HTTP mirror. Oh, that's the actual name. Use. But where do I actually? Oh, this wasn't a good idea. Bad. Oh, there you go. Mirrors. Okay, so there's an existing one called mirror. This is what was there before, and then they added a new one of type HTTP mirror policy, where you can specify multiple destinations. Yep, so it works the same way. Oh, okay, now you can specify multiple, and destination is the same, right? Like this is the same format that you would do it, right? And this is the same as the actual, like a single mirroring to one destination only. Yeah. All right, I guess they did it because they'll eventually remove this, probably, but they didn't want to break people, right? Mirror percentage. Oh, this looks a little bit odd, but I guess I understand why they did it. Probably because they didn't want to. So if you had Istio, if in previous versions, if you use mirroring, right, they didn't want to remove these fields probably to break people when they upgrade. So they're probably keeping these 2 around for a while. I don't know what the policies are, how they do that, but they'll probably deprecate them, assuming this HTTP mirror policy does the same thing, right? That's an interesting one. Plugged root cert rotation. Security within Istio has improved through the added support for pluggable root certificate rotation. That sounds like a nice feature that was typically. I did a video a while back on rotating like certs and root certs, and it's not that easy. I mean, it's a lot of steps that you have to go through. Let's see. Yes, this one. Let's search for this. Plug, cert root, bug fix, security. Okay. Thought this was a feature. Sounded like a feature. I don't know why is it a bug fix, but all right, so let's see. Attempts to fix. So there was a bug. Better root. Why is this still open if it's not completely done? All right, let's see what it is. When Istio restarts, it has default CA. Otherwise, one can plug in certs as per here. Documentation. Yes. Later, if user wants to introduce a new root CA, yes, you need to restart. Earlier, there used to be root transition when one can extend current root CA with adding. Okay, so you have two, right? So if someone, okay, oh, okay, so you could provide two and then it will rotate like after a while. It was removed. Obviously, the feature was removed. The issue was discussed. User inserts intermediate 1, intermediate 2. Okay, so the rotation was not working well, I guess. So the changes are Istio will reload root CA if the new root CA contains the old one or the new root CA is part of the old. Okay, send PCD DS. What is PCDS? Yeah, sounds like it's an API of Envoy, but or it might be a typo. There, proxy config discovery service. All right, proxy config discovery service. PR is in early stages. Well, not anymore because it's merged and it's in there. What do you mean? Oh, there you go. Oh, nice. So root, you introduce a new root. Now it has B and C, and then Istio root certs. There's two of them. And I guess these are the services that you bring up later on, but they can still talk to the service that uses the certificate that was issued by an older root, right? Yeah, it's not a bug; it's a feature. Yeah. Yeah, this is interesting. Simplify. Okay, so there you go. Simplify the workflow of rotating the certs. Yeah, there you go. Oh, this sounds like either what Christian. Oh yeah, look at it. That's my face here. That's what I was talking about. Yeah, we did this a while ago. Okay, so how it works. Go through stuff. Combine. Yeah. Okay, so it's just simplifying something that I should have known about this one, but I didn't. Anyway, that's an interesting one. I don't know why is it still. Oh, this one was merged. That one is still open, but I don't know why. It's not like fully complete or closed. Oh, closed. Oh, someone reopened it. But reopened last month. All right. Anyway. Oh, to trigger the cert rotation immediately. Okay. Anyway, it looks like this has been improved. I'll be on time. Oh, 50 minutes. I'm not gonna go through this one now. Might go way over. Definitely an interesting thing. I don't think anything has changed. Let's just double check. I don't think there's anything changed API wise. It'll just work better, I guess, or smoother. I don't know. Let's look at the changes. Trigger. Oh, okay. Yeah. Features multi-root mesh. Okay, so there's a multi-root mesh. Is that something that was already there or not? So looks like this is something that was already there. There wasn't there? Let's search for this one. There you go. Okay, if enabled, mesh will support certificates signed by more than one trust anchor for Istio. Whoa. for Istio Mutual MTLS. Okay, this was there before, right? 569. Can you look at the? I think it's Git blame, right? It's gonna show me the who added this and when. I think this was there, yeah, last year. So this has been there before. Okay, so it's only if it's different root certs, right? That's what it was. Marino is asking. I don't know, Marino, if you're asking me or if you're asking people on the stream. What's my favorite 120 feature? I would want to try this multi-root mesh one because I went through that before. Okay, so more than one trust anchor. Okay, you and everyone. Yeah, all right. Well, we haven't gone through everything yet, but this one sounds really nice. The root cert rotation. What was else? What else was there? I guess Gateway API is exciting, right? Because it's unifying the API. So that's pretty nice. Traffic mirroring, yeah, I guess there was a need for it. They added it to multiple destinations. Let's see what are the other things. Yeah, if you have your favorite one, like post it in the comment. Istio now includes a startup prod and sidecar containers by default, allows for aggressive polling during the initial phase without persisting throughout the pod's life, potentially reducing startup time by an average of 1 second. There you go. Sidecar container startup probe. All right. Sounds like something you maybe should set if you're like impacted by slow startup times. OpenShift installation enhancement. I know at least one person was interested in this one. I'm not an OpenShift expert at all, so installation process has been simplified on OpenShift, removing the need for granting the any UID SCC privilege to Istio and applications. All right. I'm all for simplifying installation of anything and everything. So this sounds like a good news for OpenShift people. So if by OpenShift people, I mean people using OpenShift and Istio. Yeah, that's exciting, I guess. Simplified to install it. Maybe this is also mentioned. Is it mentioned in the docs? Let's do. I know there's like an OpenShift, right? OpenShift specific, yeah, like setup, follow these instructions, install. If there's no, all right, I mean that's pretty straightforward. I don't know, maybe there was a requirement to do something beforehand, I guess, but like this seems pretty like straightforward, to install. And this is OpenShift again. I don't know anything about it, so I don't know how much other stuff is there that one has to do to be able to install Istio on OpenShift, but it's pretty simple. It's one command. Oh, all right, two. Well, no, it's one, right, to install it. The other one is just exposing a route for the Ingress gateway, right, which you'll probably do. But that's pretty simple. All right, enhancements for Istio-CTL. A number of enhancements to the Istio-CTL command, including the pilot monitoring port can now be auto-detected if it's not set to 15014. Okay. Yeah, I was never impacted by this one, so I don't know. Istio-CTL dashboard proxy command has been added to display the admin UI for different kinds of proxies. Oh, okay. Envoy, ztunnel. Oh, that's nice. So let's see. Dashboard proxy. Let's do Istio-CTL dashboard proxy deploy HTTP. By the way, you don't need the actual pod name. You can just do the deployment. Hopefully, I think. Let me just check what. Okay. All right. Oh no, it has to be the full pod name. There we go. Let's do this one. Oops. What? Why is it? Oh, why is this defaulting to That's not good. There's a third bug for someone to fix. Why is this defaulting to Istio system namespace? There shouldn't default to Istio system namespace, right? It should be, there you go. It shouldn't default to, that's odd. Okay, so that's the Envoy proxy, I guess. There was a dash Envoy, right? Let's see if this one defaults to system as well. What? Is this new? What am I doing? Yeah, so there is an Envoy, but if you just do proxy, it's going to be depending on whether you're, let's actually try it. So if we do Istio, CTL, uninstall, purge, yes. And then delete, deploy, HTTP bin, label, remove the label, right? And then install ambient and just see what this proxy command does. So let's see, do stoctl install, and then what install? Where is it? We have the CRDs, and then we'll do set profile equals ambient. Yes. Okay, so now we're installing ambient, and I'm just looking for, I always forget what the label is. Label. Oh, there you go. Data plane mode ambient. That's the one. Okay. CNI install, processing. So if I understood the feature correctly, and then we can label the namespace, and we can, do I have HTTP bin? I do. Oh, but not in this folder. All right, so let's go to Istio1, 20, and then HTTP bin.yaml, let's deploy HTTP bin. So one, it's running in, so we look at CNI, right? Just to make sure that this is actually running in the, yeah, it added the route for the HTTP bin. Close this. So I have this running in ambient mesh, and then we can do istio-ctl dash proxy. Yeah, this is a bug. Why is this? I don't remember this being like this. I thought it would default, or is it? I don't remember anymore. Yeah, all right. Well, doesn't look, all right, this doesn't look right, but oh, there's no proxy, of course. What am I? Might be another bug, right? Shouldn't open a proxy if it's not, if it doesn't have the sidecar proxy. So this would be, we'll open it on the Z tunnel. So we'll do istio-ctl dash proxy Z tunnel. Z tunnel. Let me copy this. Z tunnel. There we go. Yeah, this is better. It just opens on a different. There we go. Right, so this opens the Z tunnel, and then if we do the, I guess, waypoint proxy, right? So let's try that one. So if we do istio-ctl x waypoint apply service account, account HTTP bin, I think. Yep, there we go. So it's creating my waypoint proxy. It's running. So if I would do dash this guy dot default, right? So that's another way you could do dot default, but I still think that's a bug, right? Like even like kubectl always defaults to whatever your default namespace is set. If it's not set, it's always default, right? Yeah, and this one, again, opening it here. This one will open it. This is the ZTUN, sorry. This is the Envoy configuration for the Istio waypoint proxy. Okay. Yeah, this is an interesting one. Might be a bug here, but Envoy ztunnel, yeah. So we've seen that. Upgrading to 120, we would like to hear from you. Yes, if you're upgrading, Change notes, upgrade note. Let's see what's in change notes. I think we went through everything. No new deprecations. All right, so these are the detailed. Like I should have just gone here instead of the. Anyway, yeah, these are the detailed fixes and things that were added. I guess the ones over here are bigger things that they've called out. Yeah, I'm just security. Yeah, that's the one that we were looking at. Plug root certification. Attaching it to telemetry. Wasn't plugging for ability. Oh, okay. So ability to attach WASM plugins to Kubernetes gateway resources with the target ref, but then there's also the WASM plugin one that supports the L4 WASM plugins. OpenShift, Kiali was updated. Basic revision. Management. Okay. eBP. Oh, there you go. So added eBPF redirection support for ambient after CNCF established guidance around dual license eBPF code. Okay. So this was. Oh, is this the issue that added it? Oh, okay. This was. Oh, okay. There was some CNCF stuff around eBPF, I guess. Prune installing empty did not. Okay. CTL. Oh, there you go. Output threshold. Okay. Auto detecting. Yeah, that's the one that was mentioned in lazy loading. Log levels. Okay, that's a nice one. I thought that was log levels were already there. Yeah, I don't know why is this. Analyzer. Remove, verify, install. Describe. Oh, fix the Istio. I didn't even know there was an Istio. STL, experimental, describe. What is this one? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Shows the description. So if we would do describe SVC HTTP pin. Oh, service maybe. Oh, okay. No container. Yeah, because it's a service. Maybe I need to do it for the pod. Oh, but it's not gonna ambient, right? Yeah, there you go. So there are some things here. Like it's not part of the mesh. Well, it kind of is. It's part of the ambient mesh, right? Yeah. Anyway, looks like even more bugs to fix, I guess, or features to implement, maybe. Yeah, I think that's. Oh, let's quickly look at the upgrade notes. Upcoming changes. Okay, external. Okay. Okay, that's the one that I was looking at, right? Okay, there's a better explanation of this one here than it was on the first page, right? So also, if you are using external name, there are some changes that will happen. Ordering, oh, it's mentioned here. That's nice. Okay, so ordering, startup probe, polling, yep. And that's it. And you can disable it as well. All right, well, thanks for everyone who stuck with me for this 1 hour review. Let me know if you like this. I can do this for. I'll probably do this for all the upcoming releases as well because it forces me to look at the new versions as well. But all right, everyone. See you next time. Bye bye.